You're listening to the Court of Public Opinion, where the New Jersey Garden Club is helping the Pennsylvania Garden Club. Up next. The Field Report at the Court of Public Opinion is a part of the Amateur Radio Network. Coffee news and weather after this. I personally want to thank our local sponsors here in Antilles North and much more coming up next. A lot of concerns and ideas and differences in opinions. So this is why the Court of Public Opinion, while not owned and operated by YouTube, they don't own the copyrights or anything like that. Here's the issues that should be addressed at YouTube. Because YouTube and algorithms and some things where you have to get a check in the mail from YouTube. And why I say that is because YouTube doesn't own the rights to our intellectual property. That's really what's going on with your friends, your family. They don't own the rights to these ideas. This stuff was all ideas at the table. And when it comes to writing out checks and paying bills, and especially when you're doing a broadcast and a talk show, we got to know the kind of algorithm and how we get paid from YouTube. So right off the bat, there's some things that YouTube cannot just go in and start taking intellectual property. There are issues on copyright, so let's go ahead and discuss some things right off the bat because we want to get to this report. There are some things that I want to address personally. If you're a part of my We Are Family Therapy radio group, then you'll hear the whole gist of what's going on here just in our home office. Because this is really it. The gist of the issue really is, when it comes to having opinions and views, that's expressed by those who can express their opinions and views. When it comes to likes and dislikes, I'm not going to get into all that. Although I know there are views and opinions, I know that you're going to have disagreements. On principle, we discuss the topics. We do not exploit each other in this. We exploit the topic. This is just basically what I've taken from my own school and classroom. I'm not here I don't want to get into this black-white issue because there are plenty of individuals who have their own set of issues and prejudice. And I know that. I met some people that are prejudiced. When it comes to the topics at the table, at your house, whether it be locking up your things and making sure things are put away, that's mainly an issue, especially with medicine and things like that, especially with those who need to go to the meth clinic and benzo. And they're not allowed to take their bank cards, so let's just leave it there. On the topics about how money is spent and receipts, you got to save your receipts so you report it back in. And that has to go over to the payroll people. Payroll people who are hired, a hiring process. When we hire somebody, I got to basically see a rundown of their interview, what they want, what they're looking for, and career goals and ideas. And then maybe over time, as I get to know that during that 30-day trial period, how they get paid. So this issue right here with YouTube in itself, YouTube has to write out a check. And they have to be able to know where to send it. So that was one issue as far as mailing and P.O. boxes and things like that, all the moving around. We'll be able to pay our utility bills and we'll get all this stuff cleared up real quickly. Once the attorneys look over paperwork and look over some of the things, we got to make sure we have all the federal tax ID stuff, all that straightened out. And it does take a while. Now let's get down to brass tactics. The things that need to be shipped and shipped out. We can have orders and things shipped in and shipped out. That's not an issue. It's just keeping up with the demand. There's going to be a demand for this channel. I can almost guarantee it. By the time you look at what's going on in YouTube and how people get paid, the pay structure has to look a certain way. First of all, they have to lay it out. They can't just start striking people off of YouTube because then you get into the EEOC stuff, and that's when you guys go ahead, report your stuff to EEOC. If they're going to block your stuff, just go over to EEOC. Because you really are considered, like, in a lot of ways, an employee, and they have to describe why exactly they shut off these channels. These channels are just as good as, if not competitive, with mainstream news. They're very good channels. If you take a look at the top 10 and the top 20 of the best on YouTube, they're competing, their ratings are pretty high. So it's unfair to just dismiss some of these broadcasters on YouTube. They're actually getting more likes, more algorithms. And it's not fair to take away from their likes and dislikes. And I bet you that's going on Facebook as well. And that's one of the issues they need to address, not at the state house, but at Congress. There are kids and there are topics that are very relevant. Everything's on the table. When you talk about all things news, all things topics, all things weather, nothing's really off the table. Every topic should matter. Every concern, every little problem. If you don't like the pen when you're purchasing pens, you want to make sure you have the right pens. So there it is. If you want to buy a Hershey Kiss, and maybe you want to buy the lip gloss. Here the issue is that most people don't go out shopping thinking about all these subtle other underhanded things. Right off the bat, to me, just get straight to the point, say this is what I like and this is what I don't like. When you're going out to eat, if somebody sends you any kind of awkward messaging, just say something. To me, when somebody starts sending these little innuendos, there's no reason to go there. There's an appropriate way to talk to somebody. You want a kiss? That's kind of a simple gesture saying, yeah, that's cute. That's a cute thing. That's what kids are like. Most kids and most teenagers and most adults, they're not out to hurt each other. Generally speaking, you might have one bad apple. As far as online cyberbullying, if somebody's going to be that nasty, just say, I'm sorry, I'm busy. You don't have to put up with it. There's a lot of kids that are put in situations they don't want to be put in. So I choose to walk away. Have a nice day. So let's get back to here, the court of public opinion. What we were talking about is straightening out what we need to do. So right out of the gate, how we get paid, how things get done, keeping some tracking in order. It gets kind of hectic, especially after school. So one of the things I want to encourage you, if you're in my area here in Butler, and some of you have issues, let's try to get it straightened out. Save the pen feeder. That's a great way to do that. It's a way to get out and do stuff and have fun. Okay, so there's no reason to get all stressed out. They want to get out and go out. That's kind of an idea. The idea is also to work with a buddy system and pick partners. You have to pick people that you work well with and you can work well together. It works better. On the issues of views and concerns, there's a lot of views and opinions. Believe me, we've got to keep it pretty simple. When it comes to religious beliefs, there's the conflict. A lot of people have issues. I don't. I'll accept you for who you are, what you are. I don't want any screaming, any yelling, any fighting. If that's the case, they got to go outside, and they can go hammer it out over there in some yard. There's a prison yard over there, too. Not that far, down the street. Okay? So there it is. If they want to hammer out their issues, they go over there to the courthouse. Thank you for listening to our post here at the Court of Public Opinion. Your views and express and opinions, and you have ideas, any suggestions, let us know. You're listening to YouTube on the Field Report. The parents in these stories in the report, and why we're going to go hashtag Purple Strong, because I want to tell you, we've been posting this on our Facebook page, and we're going to start keeping up with the post here. In these reports, you can see, like, on the darker side of issue, concerns I would have, like, on a lower frequency, kind of concerns that we would have on YouTube on the algorithms, and how photography and video, how it looks on video, and how it looks once it's edited. They can edit out a lot of stuff. That's why I think I want to just discuss here at the Court of Public Opinion on the issue of marriage. When it comes to children and issues, like, that's kind of the topic that we've been kind of bouncing around for a while. Everyone that ever had issues in their marriage, right out of the gate, the decision in our home, at least, as far as I'm concerned, is between a man and a woman. Now, the issue on transgender and gender issues, this is a relevant issue. Parents, family, relatives, anyone that has sisters, brothers. If there's issues on gender, it might be because of the way they were raised. It might be because of some issues, some clarity. I want to talk about what's going on at the door. I personally have I take issue with what we went through with the refrigerator and food. and some things that I think are worth of debate. Here in my home, the issue that'll come up here with the door, and the gloves, and some other issues, and the bugs and the flies. Right off the bat, I think about the hotel because of the bed bugs here in this area. Radio, keeping up, and just being able to just get to work on time. Because one of the issues at getting to work on time is just having a schedule. Getting on a schedule and making sure that somebody gets us up, back and forth. So I'm just addressing the things at my own table. How, we get deliveries and we got to get things done on schedule, on time. So right now, right out of the gate, I look at some of the issues. Tobacco is probably going to be an issue at home because there's some people in my home that don't smoke, and there's some issues at home where some people do smoke. So, we try to be kind of diplomatic here with the smoking and some other issues when it comes to issues at the garden, issues at home. And to me, when I look at the menu and I look at just do a general overview, those decisions are made with family. And those decisions are made because, there might be some differences of opinion relatively, but generally speaking, like beds and how things get done and keeping some track and order and things. Like, there is a lot to be said about keeping an order at home. Like, obviously we don't want our table and our stuff to pile up and our bills to pile up, so we have to have it managed properly. And managing it at home, like, yeah, sometimes we'll have some bad orders and some things have to be returned and, sent back. Generally speaking, there's personal issues at home that are private to others. Otherwise, generally, that's their personal business. I don't really get into all the ins and outs of what goes on in someone's personal life. And right off the bat, though, I know it's the holidays. I know that we want to go shopping. I know we want to spend some money. So obviously, there's some things that we need to address about how we budget our money. First off, the thing that concerns me is about the flies. Maybe it's the music we listen to. Maybe there's some things that we can talk about. Maybe generally we have some overall concerns. But overall, kids evolve over time. And they make decisions. And sometimes those decisions, why I might not agree with it, we can talk about it. And the issue with the refrigerator and buying groceries and who buys groceries and who's going to take the car out. And you have to be able to delegate a little bit here because we got a couple cars and we only have, there's only me right now. Yeah, no, I'm not alone on this. I definitely have a partner in this. Yeah, When it comes to garden issues and getting to the store back and forth and walking, that's mainly a concern that I think is obvious during this time of month, especially as it is October and kids have to be back and forth. And right now, since it is like 10 after 4, kids are coming home. They got to get homework done. So they have a pretty good idea what's going on with closets, keeping the closets in order. Just kind of, let's get some order back here. As far as the desk, that desk has to be cleaned up. We got to get things back to what it needs to be functional again. The emphasis on dysfunction doesn't help as much as as much as I acknowledge there's a little bit of dysfunction going on. Relatively speaking, when they get their chores done and they get work done, they have their free time. They need to do their thing on their free time. I get the whole issue on smoking. I get it. There are some things that go on at home that a lot of us need to pay attention to rules. It doesn't mean you call the police every time there's an issue. What the issue really is about is taking things that we're not supposed to be taking and asking for permission. That was one of the issues at home. So whenever I ran out of gas, and I had issues with running out of gas, or something had happened, and we call somebody and we can't get a hold of somebody, or we go down to talk to the mechanic, that was the issue altogether with the truck. And as a final report, just want to give you guys some changes that will be with the rotation. We are going to make some small changes, but generally speaking, when we're talking about public access radio and what's on the dial and what is on new media, they do have to kind of keep up, because here in Pittsburgh, it is about 10, sometimes 15 years behind. And most of you guys who listen to social media or wall or things, kind of like the NPR look and feel to what you hear on radio. It's just more or less, FM News Talk was kind of canceled out. So this is publicly supported. And as a rule, a lot of times soldiers return away for a cup of coffee. So we do a coffee news segment because that's one of the things that was addressed with a lot of veterans in police. They were turned away for coffee. So we have a coffee news segment, and this is a local broadcast. If we can get more support, publicly supported, we have plenty of good opportunities here, and to make to legitimately get a paycheck from not just YouTube, also do something where we become a syndicated radio show, and we can have more of the bigger names on this channel. So this is just a run through for some of you who want to get a paycheck, or you're amateurs. This is a good opportunity to maybe dig your heels a little, do some homework, send a demo to my email. That's how I started out at 17, announcing and voice coaching and some other practice. Just basically a run through how you can learn how to do announcing. Just speak out loud. Sit in front of a table and just read out loud. Listen to the pitch, listen to how you pitch a story. Just kind of get into the dynamics of what you learn in broadcast radio. Now, rotation. This is language you're going to get to know. They do something called internal trafficking. They change things inside that more like editing, reporting. Okay, some other concerns that we want to address right off the bat. When you're working by yourselves, you have to either just make sure you have approval, make sure, like, if you have something you want to work on, you got to talk to a station manager. There's managers, there's people that have to be able to do those, make those decisions. So they look for experienced station manager, somebody who manages a lot of that, and the pay structure and things like that would be included. Okay. It's pretty easy when you think about a paycheck, when you think about not having a paycheck, why people go hungry, for obvious reasons, because they're working towards a goal. So that's why they select certain people, and they have to get food. So we have a gift card. Okay. Other things that I want you guys to know if you're listening into the wrap-up. We have to call a short day because it gets kind of hectic and it gets overwhelming. And you have an AM schedule, PM schedule. So AM schedule out, PM schedule in. Okay? It's kind of that simple. Got to keep it simple. Okay? And as far as like kids or ideas, get the suggestion box. Make sure it's in the suggestion box. That's what I want you guys to do. Okay? So we have some ideas. We have a pretty good idea of what they like and don't like. Okay? Christmas for Toys for Tots, donation, things like that as well. So let's call it a day. It's nice to have an end of the day. So I just want to thank you all for listening to our broadcast. If it gets to Access Channel and we get things going, it'd be great. If not, hey, it was worth a try. Thank you for listening. You have to be able to follow along. You got to be able to keep up with the demands at home. Because things can get chaotic at home quickly. When somebody's upset and, you're driving to the store and you run out of gas, you're not thinking about these things. So as a general rule, we don't try to go out the store and get, spend money. When we're upset, we're not thinking, and we're spending money we don't have, okay? So we're going to get this figured out eventually. We got to be on a budget. Now, as far as Olive Garden, going out to dinner and things like that, I'll leave the stuff there. Generally, they don't usually have these problems. We have to hold on to the receipts because they do have to do accounting. They do have to do the accounting. And we have to keep track of expenses, and that's just monthly budget and seeing what's coming in and how much is going out. That's how you can balance a budget. If I know how much money is coming in, and everyone gets their money, and they get their bill money, and the bill gets paid. It's that simple. That way, there's no issue about where the money's being spent. The electric bill's being spent. The kids are getting the clothes they need, and especially when it comes to my nieces, my sister, and the kids, I got to know where this money's being spent. That's the general rule, especially when it comes to kids, because it's Christmas is coming up, and they're going to want to have spending money, and they're going to want to go out to lunch and dinner and do some things with their friends, and they're going to want to go out to Five Below, so we know this is going to be the issue. So we kind of address some issues. This is your family meeting. The kids are going to want spending money, and you're going to want to have some money extra to, buy some, I mean, I don't know what it'll be. Groceries, I mean, depending on what kind of gift cards they get and some other things. Because it is Christmas, and we just started the Christmas decorating early. In fact, I started September because I figured, heck, we'll celebrate every Christmas holiday. We'll celebrate Russian Orthodox Christmas. We'll celebrate them all. That way there won't be any discrimination. How about that? Christmas every day if you want.